Is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? This is Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey. Net control for the Mount Juliet Simplex radio net. Is there any emergency or priority traffic? Negative. All right. If there is any emergency or priority traffic, please call 911 first. If you can't do that, call us. If you can't do that, just, well, you're just going to have to sit there and run down the street and look for somebody. Net may be broken any time for that kind of traffic. For information on this net, you can see us on YouTube right now. Look in the search block under my call, Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey. For those that are phonetically declined, it's K4PEW. Or the word Brain Trusts, BRA, Brain and Trusts, one word. You can also look at us on our regular website, or irregular as the case may be. That's 146415.net. Or on groups.indiaoscar. It's groups.io. And you go MJSS, and you can request to put on our mailing list, which we have, 94 or 95 folks so far, which is quite a few, I think, for a non-club club. Or you can email me at Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey at ARRL.net. The net normally meets at 8 p.m. every Wednesday and Saturday night, which we've been doing for almost 5.5 years. Not twice a week for 5.5 years. And we conduct the net on 146.415 FM Simplex, which I think you already know. Purpose of the net is to have fun and help people get better just by the virtue of the more people you can hear and the more people who can hear you, the more fun you can have on radio. And it's a great hobby to begin. And we invite everyone to use the net for amateur radio, to announce amateur radio events and activities. And I have a couple of announcements. And of course, tonight we have the net on 10 meters, on 28.415 upper sideband, 28.415 upper sideband, immediately following the 2-meter net. And then tomorrow night, there are two different nets. There's a Simplex net in Bowling Green on 146.430 at 7:30. And then there's another one at 8 o'clock on the Wilson County Amateur Radio Club's repeater on 147.105, which is a plus offset in a 156.7 PL. Does anybody have any questions or additions to that information? All righty. And I guess we'll get the net started. This is net number 565. We're starting from the east. And so east, come now.
Kilo India 4 Sierra India Bravo.
You got, would you kidnap James, did you, Richard?
I have no idea where the young man is. I hope he's doing well.
Okay. Hey, did your trip go all right this past, well, when was it? This is, whenever you weren't here. Today is what? Today's Wednesday, so that was Saturday. That's what it was. You doing all right?
About 12 hours after we left down there, he passed away Tuesday morning about 3:30. And don't know any of the arrangements yet, but I would appreciate y'all keeping her in your prayers and thoughts and all. But anyway, other than that, other things running pretty smooth, and I hope everybody's staying warm. I don't like this weather. I'm sure a lot of folks don't either. Y'all take care of 73. Turn it back over to you, Paul. Thank you for what you do. KI4SIB.
Yeah, very good, Richard. Yeah, Richard's is your father-in-law, right, Richard?
Yes, sir. He lived in Columbia. He's been all over the country. He was a retired truck driver.
Ah, boy. Long, hard life on the road, so to speak. Yeah, that was Richard's father-in-law, passed away. That would have been yesterday, I think. Today's Wednesday, yeah. And he lives in Columbia, and so if you're so inclined, to please keep the family, extended family, in your prayers. Again, it was Richard Kilo, India 4, Sierra, India Bravo, and he is just west of downtown Lebanon. Who else is up next? East.
KE4DZ.
You sound pretty good there, Earl.
Well, thank you very much. So are you. I'm feeling pretty good today, too, I guess. How about you?
Yeah, doing pretty good. Yeah, no, I see. You were doing better than average here with about an S5, S6, I think, if I'm reading that correctly.
14B2, a little bit lower to the ground antenna, but kind of pointing up there in your general direction.
No, it's doing a good job for you. And in fact, it really was around S7, and you're not normally that good. I don't know if it was on the same antenna or not, but you know, at S7 is not too shabby and good audio.
Right, okay, cool deal. Well, I'll get off here and let you get on to the round table thing, and they're gonna wait for that little piece of apparatus to get my D-Star out of that and anything else better to call it in-house Simplex network going on, so my radio can simplex to my computer and connect to the D-Star stuff out there, since there's no local things down here that I know of that can be connected to.
Yeah, I don't know of any, but I don't have D-Star, so leaves me kind of out of that picture. But you got it headed in the right direction.
Yeah, it's just got stuck in that there one little mode of overestimating or trying to figure out, I guess, maybe the capabilities of the radio, see if I could get by without using that there D-dangler thing to go to the computer. So, I'll just hook it up USB or get to hook it up to my router or, things like this, that, and other. But either way, I still had to wind up getting some kind of internet connection to the radio from the computer, and still be able to use the microphone to talk on the access to internet.
Sounds complicated. Simplex is a lot easier, isn't it?
Well, yeah, basically that's what this little D-dangler USB thing is. It's going to low power on the radio, HT, whatever, like that. It's going to transmit to that little antenna on the USB thing and use the software on the PC to daggone hit whatever reflector is available at any given place or time. It's pretty cool, fairly simple. I just, made it a little bit complicated than what I had to, trying to figure out the capabilities of my radio, which is a good thing on the other hand, because, it's nice to know your equipment that you're operating.
Oh yeah, no, it's I've seen that before. The learning curve on that D-Star is already steep, and then you slap on the dongle thingy and the USB thing, and it's it confuses it. Confuses many of us more. I haven't had to address it. So anyway, that was Earl with a little D-Star saga there. That's Kilo Echo 4 Delta Echo Zulu. He's in Noreen, just east of the Cedars of Lebanon Park. Who else east? Please come out.
W4EBX.
There was a pregnant pause. How you doing, Eddie?
Doing good. Just can't wait till some more of this cold weather comes in here.
Why do you want more?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, I think tonight I saw some snow earlier in the evening, about 5 o'clock, flying around Mount Juliet.
Yeah, we got our milk and bread, so we're all ready for it.
You go out and buy a new snow shovel?
No, I'm too old to do that stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think you needed any. The only one time I was here, I don't remember what year that was, but we had enough that almost needed a shovel. I had to use my broom to clear off the car, that's for sure. But anyway, that was very good. Everything else going all right for you, Eddie?
Oh, yeah, doing good. Hope everybody else is doing good. And thanks for doing the net. You're doing a good job with getting everybody together and learning and trying to improve their station. W4EBX.
Yeah, if we're not careful, somebody's going to call us a Simplex cult.
Well, you never know. We could always use some more names.
That's right. All right, very good. That was Eddie. He's over in Gladeville, east of Mount Juliet Road, and south of 40. That's Whiskey 4 Echo Bravo X-ray. Who else next? East.
Okay, I'm 483.
Hey, Stan, you get all your antennas squared away now?
I got the vertical up. See how it does and look at.
For the 10 meters, yeah. And that does it come out pretty good on the SWR?
Yeah, it's pretty flat all across the range.
Oh, you ought to do great then.
I hope so.
Yeah, I don't think it takes a whole lot really. It's just a decent antenna and decent amount, regular amount of power, and you'll do fine. Although I see people who I don't know anybody on the group that has 500 watts or 1,000, but I'm sure there are somebody's out there got an amp for 10 meters.
Yeah, the L4B I have works 110.
The which one?
Drake L4B.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I don't have that, of course. Everything else going well for you?
Going good, Paul. About yourself?
It's going pretty grand, other than I wasn't expecting cold and cloudy and snow today for sure.
Warm back up next week.
Oh, I know it will. Probably warm up tomorrow. I haven't looked at the weather. Anyway, that was Stan. He's over in just a little bit north of downtown Lebanon. It's Kilo Mike 4 Hotel Quebec X-ray. Yeah, excuse me, Hotel Quebec Echo. Anyway, over in Lebanon. Who else? East. Up to the north of Mount Juliet. Please come in.
K4WK. W4DBD.
W4W. Dang. DV. I got that all messed up, Brian. Hold on one second. I got K4. I got Steve. That's who I got. How you doing, Steve?
Wonderful. How are you, Paul?
I'm doing great. Give me your call again because I got it all messed up. It's K4 WKU, correct?
Absolutely correct.
Yeah. I got tongue twisted there with two people with a little bit of a double there. Anyway, how you doing, Steve? Did the net go well last Tuesday night?
Yeah, I had 7 check-ins last night. That was a regular night where they had a club meeting. So they asked for more participation in the nets during that meeting, and then to see what kind of happens during my net, specifically for my net. Simplex, since we had the tower that went down behind the house. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
Yeah, I heard about that. I think you told me about it.
Well, I posted something on the site about that, but I never got any response, so I didn't know if anybody really realized what happened.
Well, I'm not sure exactly what happened. Now, that was whose tower was that?
That was W4WSS's tower. Now, it wasn't his tower. It was Davis Electronics tower, and there were some Amish guys that were up there logging the facility off, and they dropped the tree on the top guy wire, and they brought the tower down.
And whose stuff was on that tower now? I mean, which excuse me, that was W4WSM's repeater?
Correct.
But I got that right. Whiskey 4, Whiskey Sierra Mike.
Absolutely correct. Had 4 repeaters on that tower.
Oh, 4 repeaters on that tower. And it was just where now? Up just north of Bowling Green?
Oh, right behind my house.
Oh, boy. Yeah, well, I'm sorry they didn't have a video. It would have been a YouTube smash.
Well, it's still a mess. I'm waiting to make sure that the loggers are not going to be up there before I go up there. But there's towers still laying everywhere.
Yeah, I hope some of it's salvageable. How big a tower was it? And it's salvageable.
I don't know. I haven't been up there yet.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, I'm sorry to hear that for the 4 repeater owners, that's for sure. By the way, that was Steve. For you those of you that can't hear him, he's in the Bowling Green, just north of Bowling Green, K4WKU, and it did get announced on the group that there's a tower that went down in just north of Bowling Green. It was the Whiskey 4 Whiskey Sierra Mike's tower, and it had 4 repeaters on it. The guy wires got hit by a logger. Was a tree came down, hit the guy wire, and that was the end of the tower. So apparently it was a big mess. But anyway, he was just giving us an update there. And the tower's not back up. So if any of you were using those repeaters on that tower, just in the north side of Bowling Green, they haven't been functional for 10 days at least. All right, anyway, that was Steve in Bowling Green. Brian, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, good evening, Paul, and everyone on the net. Doing just
fine, and you're loud and clear here. I did not hear Steve, of course, but in any case, I did hear, Richard, very good. And so, anyway, not too much new, just glad to hear everybody, and that I can hear, and glad to check in. And before DDC.
Yeah, very good. That was Brian. Yeah, you're doing fine. You were doing S5 in here as you were talking there, I noticed. W4, Whiskey 4, Delta, Bravo, Victor. He is in Northwest Wilson. Good signal with inside the attic directed to J pole. He's got a reflector and a director on that, so it does very well. You're S5, Brian, so you're doing great. Anyway, who else is next? North, please come in.
WB0 and OO.
Hey, Mark, how are you? You weren't here, I don't know, last net or so. I don't remember now.
Yeah, I've been missing for a couple of weeks. We took a driving trip down to Everglades City and back.
Oh, that's a. Have you been there before? I take it.
Yeah. We started out in Apalachicola and then went around the coast to Cedar Key, and then visited family in Tampa area. Then on down to see friends in where were we? Bonita Springs, I guess, and then on down to Everglades City and back. About 2,700 miles altogether.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It's funny because by comparison, Tennessee landscape is pretty, and you have to get used to Florida landscape because the Everglades area is not pretty. It's just kind of boring after about 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, I'd been there before. My wife hadn't, so we did the airboat thing and had lunch and went to an old store and just did all the touristy things.
Yeah, you did all them Yankee things. Go down. You didn't do no alligator wrestling, did you?
No, I did get to pet one.
Man, it took me. I left there in 2009, and I at some point around 5 years ago, I can walk by water without looking at it for traces of alligators along the shore.
Yeah, the whole place. There are alligators everywhere. We checked in a hotel actually in Bonita Springs, just north of Naples, and looked out our window, and there was a sign that there was a little pond there. Oh, I don't know, maybe an acre, maybe a half an acre, I don't know. But anyway, the sign was "Beware of the alligator."
Oh yeah, no. If there's a body of water larger than, I don't know, even a small one, there can be small alligators, but they usually move on into larger waters. But there was alligators throughout the city of Tampa in the larger ponds, and anywhere that there was water that I was aware of, there was alligators. And yeah, it was. You just get used to that idea, and so you're careful when you walk around the shores of, and no matter where you were careful.
Yep. Well, I'll tell you one thing. They really don't know how to drive down that area, especially in the Tampa area. Oh, my gosh. It was a mess. I was glad to get through there.
So everything didn't get better after I left, I take it?
No. We actually stayed in Tarpon Springs right off Highway 19. And it's just a zoo. I thought I was going to die every time I pulled out onto it.
Well, do you remember when the Highway 19, before it was improved?
Well, I remember 19 when I was a kid. It was just a little 2-lane road through there.
Well, yeah, and then they most of it was 4 lanes south of Hernando County, I guess, or somewhere around there. But it was 4 lanes going through every imaginable intersection on the planet, and there was no overpasses, underpasses. So when I first got there in '73, there would be people who had bumper stickers that would say, "Pray for me, I drive on US 19."
Yep. Well, with good reason. I don't know. I think the speed limit was, 45 or 50, but everybody was doing 80.
Oh. Yeah, no, it's it was a mess, and it's still a mess. It was a mess then, and now it's been improved because it's, as you noticed, it has all these overpasses and underpasses, they've done a good job of it, but it doesn't change the fact that when you mix up a whole world of retired folks who don't drive very much and they're in their 70s and 80s and sometimes 90s, especially in Pasco and Pinellas County, and you put them on a roadway with northerners and others driving at 75 miles an hour, nothing ends up good.
No, but it was a fun trip. Glad to be home, and we came home in 2 days, so that was two 450 or 500-mile days. That was a pretty good trip. But anyway, glad to be back on and checking into the net. Have a good evening, WB0NOL.
Yeah, I'm glad you got back all right, Mark. Yeah, that's quite a trip into South Florida, go down all the way down to Everglades City, and oof, you haven't been down there in a long time. Anyway, that's Whiskey Bravo 0, November Oscar, and that's Mark. He is up in Northwest Wilson, up by the weather station. That's the National Weather Service. That is. Who else is north? Please come out.
KN4KXA. This is Robert in Goodlettsville.
Hey, Robert. I think it was a double in there, but hold on, Mr. Double. How you doing, Robert?
Doing well, man. Sounds like everybody's doing all right tonight.
Yeah, well, everybody's waiting for spring, I think.
Well, that's true, but by and large, we've had an easy winter of it. Every day we don't have a bunch of snow on the ground is a day that we walk. So, man, I'm looking forward to spring too, but I'll take a winter like this anytime.
Yeah, if we don't get a lot of snow and we don't get a bunch of freezes, on top of rain like we did a year ago or a few years ago when we got freezing rain and slush and ice and pretty much closed roads, I'll be happy not to have that happen again soon.
Man, Roger that. That I'd like to say I'll for sure take it. Well, hey, man, I'll turn the net back over, and thanks to everybody for checking in. I'll be on the side and see you guys on the 10-meter.
All right, very good. That was Robert in Goodlettsville. That's Kilo November 4 Kilo X-Ray Alpha. Excellent signal out of Goodlettsville. Who else is up next north?
Kilo Echo 4 Romeo Victor Quebec.
Hey, Brent, did you ever? I was going to remind Net Control, but did you ever get through to that repeater net last night?
No, negative. I'm still it's scratchy. I'm hoping they'll get these two repeaters linked up, and then I'll be in like Flint.
Yeah, I was surprised because I could hear you just fine, and I was surprised that the Watertown couldn't hear you.
That thing went offline for me over 2 months ago, and I don't know whether they've changed the location of the antenna or what it was because I was hitting it with 5 watts.
Ah, yeah. I think the problem, well, whatever it was, because I told Jeff that I was hearing everybody, on the reverse better than the repeater was. When I hear people on the repeater, so he goes, yeah, apparently, he said they're aware of the problem, and I'm guessing it's an antenna problem.
Well, hopefully it's on their end. I think I'm sounding good.
Oh no, not your problem, man. I'm saying it's their problem was. I think it's an antenna issue, and I'm guessing they have to replace it because it sure did not sound very good. It used to sound great.
Oh, it used to blow the whole county up.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was just a perfect. It was a great underused repeater.
It sure was. How you been doing?
I've been doing just great. I think I'm going to stock up on food before the coronavirus hits, but I'm all right.
I hear you. My part-time job turned into 64 hours a week, so it's been kind of crazy since December 8th.
Well, that certainly pays the bills.
Yeah, it's come in handy.
Man, 64 hours. I have not worked. Well, I can't say I had some. Let's put it this way: I haven't actually. When I worked, I may have mentioned that before. I worked construction. I had some 64 or 68-hour weeks a couple of times in the summer when it was weather permitting, and that was work though. I mean, that was actual work, construction work. But I had some long weeks after that in other jobs, but nothing that strenuous.
Yeah, no, that's one good thing about the job. It doesn't break your neck.
No, but it's a lot of time on your feet, and it's just a lot of time being awake and aware,
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of hours. Like I said, I've got a break for about maybe 15 or 20 days, and then all of a sudden have another influx.
Wow, that's a lot of work. All right, well, very good. That's Brent. And where's all that taking place now? Where are you actually performing all that?
It's out there, original place.
Ah, okay, very good. Yeah, it doesn't. Man, that's a lot of time on the job. 60-something hours a week. Yeah, not good for a part-time job. If it were. All right, that was Brent. He's in Northwest Wilson, Kilo Echo 4 Romeo Victor, Quebec, with a great signal, although not great into the WLYR repeater down in Watertown. Who else is up next?
KN4FAX.
Hey, Otis, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Waiting to connect up with Earl on 01C.
Ah, that was on the D-Star thingy?
Yeah, I was hoping he'd be ready. I didn't hear him tonight, but I heard his signal. The windbuster blowing his antenna off a little bit.
Yeah, very good. So that's he obviously is waiting for something on his D-Star setup. I'm not sure what it is, but apparently he's getting ready.
Okay, y'all have a good one over there. I'll get by and turn that back over to you. So 73 to everybody.
Very good. That's Otis. I'm pretty sure he's the oldest fella here on the group. KN4 Foxtrot Alpha X-Ray, and he is up in Hendersonville. Who's up next north? Please come down.
N4, NOO.
N4, is it N or M? I'm sorry.
November, Oscar.
Oh, I don't think you've checked in before, have you?
No, sir. I believe I caught you one day on 5.2 while I was doing some testing, and you informed me of the net, and I just happened to swing by tonight, and I was at the right place at the right time. Thought I'd say hello. The name is Rick, and I'm in Goodlettsville.
Ah, very good, Rick. I'm glad to have you on the air. We're always glad to have anybody who's interested. We have a reasonably good time, I think, and it's a good way to figure out who you can hear and etc. What kind of antenna are you using?
It's a oh goodness, it's an omnidirectional. It's the antenna that has the little arms going out all sorts of directions, both up and down, and a center. I can't think of the name of it for some reason. Having one of those moments.
Maybe a discone?
Maybe exactly a discone. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, it's a funny looking antenna, but you're doing a good job from good as well. How high up is it? Because as you probably know, the good discone's only got a no gain, but it does have a good signal if it's up high enough.
Yeah, it's rather weak in that respect, but I must admit I can hear an awful lot of stuff with it. It's only up about 25 feet, not very high, just barely peeking above the peak of the house, but for what it is, it does a pretty good job.
Oh yeah, well it's you're about 20 over to me, so it's doing it. You're in a good location, obviously, and the elevation is decent. Yeah, what's neat about that? Well, let me ask you this: how many do you use it for any other frequencies, or do you use it to monitor other frequencies as well? You know, because it's pretty broadbanded.
Oh, I use it to monitor everything that isn't HF, broadcast, public service. If it's above HF, if it's not on the HF antenna input, that's what I hear it on.
Yeah. Do you have the 6 meter? Some of those have a 6 meter or 10 meter vertical on top of them. Do you have one of those?
Yes, I do. And I've never played with that very much, but as far as listening, I hear an awful lot of stuff.
Now, which one is it? Is it a 10 meter?
No, I think it's 6.
Oh, okay, because we've got that 10 meter net following. I just was hoping you'd answer 10.
Well, yeah, that'd be fun. What is the frequency on that?
28.415. It's easy because it's the same 415, but just the 28.415 upper side beam.
28.415 upper. Okay, very good. I will. I guess I should ask when that's active.
Well, it's we're going to do it as soon as we finish the 2 meter net, which is probably in about 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, you may not hear me, but I'll be listening. Well, thank you much. I'll let you go and carry on. Thank you very much. Everybody's sounding really good. I'm hearing everybody pretty well. I think my elevation's about I think it was
590 or 600. It's between 590 and 600, depending upon what part of the lot you're on. Anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'll be listening more often. This is N4NOO.
Yeah, very good, Rick. Good to have you in there. That was Rick. He's a first timer here on the net. It's November 4, November, Oscar. He's in Goodlettsville. Just 50 watts you're using there, Rick?
Yes, it was.
Okay, it is you're 20 over, and I'd be anxious to hear later, or just email me or whatever, and tell me how you're copying some of the people that are farther away down on the south or farther to the west, because we have a few people in from much farther distances than me, and I'm at my base of my antenna is at about 730 feet, I think it is, off of the ground. No, off the ground. 730 feet above sea level, and my house is at about 686. So, and it's a chimney mount. I don't have a tower, but I do have a pretty good elevation. So I copy all the people really good. I'm not sure everybody south of me can hear you really good, just due to the lack of gain on your antenna. But anyway, no big deal. I just love to hear what you got going on there. And again, that's November 4, November, Oscar, Rick in Goodlettsville. And who else is north?
And by the way, you're an S9.
Hey, how are you doing tonight? KG6HWR.
Kilo Cycle 6, but you're close. I'm doing well. I'm talking on a different loop because that microphone finally decided to quit on my Kenwood. So I'm on an ICOM and mid-power, so I'm pushing probably about 15 watts.
Yeah, did I not say KC? Did I say KG6? Is that what I said?
Yeah, I believe you might have, yes.
Yeah, well, if I was perfect, would I be sitting here? Yeah, no, you're doing great here. And how much power are you running?
I think I'm running around 15 in mid-power on the selector. Your same signal coming into me. I'll be going down to Atlanta this week, and I'll be looking at the HRO for that antenna. Same one you have.
Yeah, they said that I think HRO was there, and they brought none with them.
Exactly. I did not catch a single one. But who's going to carry that kind of cash?
Well, I'll tell you, another fellow who went there, he was going to buy 4 of them, and there was none to be had.
Oh, okay. Well, I got there kind of late.
No, he didn't get any either, because HRO, I don't know, I guess they didn't think they'd sell any, so they didn't bring them, because they're fairly large item, with the 4 sections to put in the tubes they come in, and so, or whatever, it's a fairly large package. So I guess they just didn't figure it was worth it, but they lost the sale of at least 5.
Well, you times that. That's a good. That would have paid for their booth.
I would think it would. Yeah, I don't know how much money they make on those, but the dealers. But yeah, let's put it this way: any sale is a good sale, especially when you get up in that almost $400 a piece.
Exactly. Well, I was in sales just like you, so I can relate to them. Even if they're 15 to 20% markup, that's still decent.
Yeah, I don't really know what their margin is. I'm guessing I don't know what it is. I don't want to speculate for fear of sounding silly. I know what our margin was in our business, and people used to think we were crazier than loons, but we had to have a high margin just due to the nature of our business. We ran about a 45% gross margin.
Yeah, I ran that with what I did with insurance restoration. That was my base. And the most of that was because I put the money into the product.
Yeah, well, very good, Darcy. I'm glad you're in there. He's in Cottontown, Kilo Charlie 6, Hotel Whiskey Romeo, with a fairly low signal from Cottontown. Looking to buy. It's where he was going to Dalton among other things, to look for an X700 or something comparable, and they didn't. HRO didn't bring any with them to the event, so I thought that was kind of strange. But good to have you in there, Darcy. You sound okay, even though it's a little low. Looking forward to when you get that better antenna. Who's up next? And again, that was KC6, Hotel Whiskey Romeo, Darcy. Who else is next? North or west?
KN4TJF, just for comparison, this is 5 hour.
Yeah, you were bumping up. Sorry, hold on a second, Rick. Yeah, you were bumping up against S5 on that last transmission, so it wasn't doing too bad. It's just that it's, I think, just what antenna are you using again?
The 200, A200, Simon.
Oh, yeah. I think that's what F is. That got us a gain of about 5 point something, or is that 6? I don't remember.
Actual gain is right about 5, but DVI is a little higher.
Yeah, no, I got you. Okay, that's yeah, very good. You'll be able. I'm confident you'll be able to tell the difference. Well, very good, Darcy. Appreciate that feedback there. Rick, how you doing? You getting the antennas up and running?
I did. I got my 700 up about 20 feet.
Uh-huh. And are you hearing any better?
Yeah, I heard Richard really well. I could hear Mark and Robert.
Oh, good. So you do notice the difference.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's quite a bit of difference. Actually, I talked to Earl on Simplex yesterday.
Oh, you're lying, man.
I'm not lying this time.
This time. Yeah, I'm glad. No, it's. I hope you're astounded at. I mean, obviously you knew already that the 700 was going to do a good job, but now that it's up, how high is it now? 20 feet?
Now it's probably up about 40 to tip.
So the base of it's at about 20, and yeah, with 24 feet on top of it, that's pretty good.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it might be up closer to 50 because I got it about 20 foot taller. So that's about 40. Yeah, it's about 60 foot here.
Well, for what it's worth, you need it for where you are.
Amen, I do. So next, I'm gonna get my 10 meter up and my beam, and then I'll be talking and talking.
Well, you're gonna have to start your own net over there in that western part of the world.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Well, I'm doing a presentation in April for the Nashville Amateur Radio Club at their monthly meeting about Simplex. So maybe we'll have some nice competition, friendly competition.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. That'd be great.
Oh, no, I agree. I think the more the better is good for me.
That's right. That's right. Well, I tell you what, I sure appreciate what you do.
All righty. Very good. That was Rick. He's over in Ashland City, Kilo November 4, Tango Juliet Foxtrot. And he's again in Ashland City. Doing a good job with his, he jumped his X700 diamond antenna up another, I don't know, 20 feet maybe. And he needs it, of course, being where he is, but he says he can hear much better than he did before. Who else is up next, West?
KM4YRF.
There was a double in there, but I got Michael. I didn't hear who the other one was, but so you and Rick have got a plan going that's working well.
Yeah, we didn't get the 10 meter antenna up because we ran out of time and it was sprinkling rain when we finished it up.
And when did you finish that? Was that today?
That was Sunday.
I was going to say, yeah, that's right. I'd ask which day, but it rained almost every day.
Yeah, I'm real anxious to get his 10 meter antenna up and see how he can do with that.
I'm sure he'll do okay. Really, I mean, I can detect the difference because he was how was his signal to you on 2 meters just now?
I could hear him about every other word. It was funny because we were trying it out last night, and on the 415 I could get about every other word, and we switched over to 490, and he was like S3. It just didn't make any sense.
Huh. That is weird. Must be a numerology thing.
Yeah, just something about the frequency, maybe.
Yeah, something about the frequency that the RF gods don't like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, he sounded good tonight. I mean, like I said, Earl sounded better than normal, but you said you couldn't hear him well, which you normally can.
Well, when he first checked in, I could hear him. I heard everything he said, but then as time went on, he just kind of fades away. He had no signal strength, but I could hear his audio a little bit.
Huh. Yeah, well, you guys have had times when it's been perfectly good, though, right?
Oh yeah, it just depends on the day.
Yeah, well, that's what makes this fun, I guess. Pretty soon, it would be like a progression of, okay, that wasn't enough. Let's get up higher, and then you say, okay, now I got to buy a tower. Now I got to get a bigger tower. And pretty soon you got 2 towers.
Yeah. I wish he had a tower out there. That would be a big help.
Yeah, well, we won't say that too loud. I can just see it happening now.
It sure might. That's for sure.
All right, very good. That was Michael, Kilo Mike 4, Yankee Romeo Foxtrot in Bellshire. Who else is next? West, please come down.
November, India, 4 Delta.
CD, Paul.
Hold on, OCD. I got November, India 4 Delta. How you doing, Carl?
Pretty good, Paul. Thought I'd get a check-in while I still could.
Yeah, no, you're doing fine. Did you get all your antenna stuff done and you recovered from it, I take it?
Still working on Don's antennas a little bit. More coming up this weekend. Should have his beam in the air. Yeah, I think most of my stuff's done for the moment. I've got a couple odds and ends to finish up. But 160 is good, and the OCF is doing well. And, everything on the hex beam except for that 40 meter kind of folded dipole element doing fine. So I guess we're okay over here.
What's the length on it? I may have asked you before. What's the length on that off-center fed?
135, I think. Cut a third of the way up from one end, and I've got the long legs about 90 and my low end's about 45 feet.
Oh, that sounds pretty decent. And you can work that what 80 through 10 or so.
Yeah, it's good to 6. I've got 6 meters on the hex beam, and really it was envisioned more of a listening antenna, but it does so well on 80 and 40. I just basically use that one exclusively for 80 and 40. And then the 160 is an inverted L. It's about 130 feet from the tower over to the tree.
Yeah, I think I told you I had an off-center fed that I made. It was the shorter one. I forget the length on it now. I still have it, but I forget what it is. But it was 40 through 10 or 6, and that thing worked great. I think I told you. It said, well, you probably won't need a tuner for certain parts of certain bands. I was like, sure. Then I tested it, and I didn't need a tuner on those bands. I was shocked.
Yeah, that's only the work bands. I think you need a tuner on 30, and it'll do 60 as well, but I don't do anything on 60, but 30, 17, and 12, and it does okay on 15. That's a third harmonic, I guess, of 40.
Yeah, it's almost like magic with that off-center fed.
Yeah, and it's really odd if you look at it on an analyzer. It's got if it's cut right, it does what it does. You don't have to worry about it.
Yep, I'm with you. No, I had a ball with it. Mine was really a low power one. I had a very small balun on it that I wound myself, and it was supposedly for QRP, and I did use it for a lot of QRP, but maybe I did 25 watts, and I forget what I did now. I haven't used it in a while. Anyway, Carl, good to hear from you. That's November, India 4 Delta, and he's in. I remember it's Brentwood. I remembered this time. All right, and it's Carl in Brentwood, November 1 4 Delta. Let's see. I got who do I have next? OCD. That's who I got. How you doing?
Very good, Paul. KB9 OCD here. You're sounding good as always. Just thought I'd say hi to everyone, and just sitting here listening. I got in late, so I just thought I'd say good evening to you.
Well, you're doing good. You're recovering, or have you scheduled that thing yet?
No, not yet. We're going for a second opinion, so we'll see what happens. I have no idea when that's going to happen.
Well, I wouldn't rush into anything, but you're right. A second opinion is probably a great idea.
I've got 2 or 3 other doctor's appointments to answer questions and talking to medical people that I actually trust and everything. And so we're just putting our, dotting our I's and crossing our T's and making sure we know what we're getting ourselves into.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you a bit, especially with that kind of a surgery kind of thing going on. But everything else going well, and of course, now that you're retired, it's harder for you to do stuff with that condition.
Yeah, it is. It's very limiting, but I still getting monkeying around here doing little odd and end jobs there. I'm getting a garage set up for my choo-choo trains and all that. So we're just taking it by day.
Which trains are you running?
Oh, I've got O scale, N gauge, HO, S gauge, and 1 gauge.
Wow, I didn't even know that there were that. I knew a couple of those, but I didn't know the others even existed. Wow, you must have quite a collection.
Yeah, I do. I'm actually what I've been doing the last few days there, besides getting my tabletop ready, I've been going through all the stuff that I've collected over the years and sort of inventoried and sorted and everything like that. So it's a process.
Yeah, it's a process of managing all those different components.
Well, I've got all them, but I'd probably only be running 3 scales. I'll be running the N gauge, which is a little bitty guys, and the O gauge, which is a 3-railer, and then maybe HO.
Oh, yeah, I only knew now the ones that the Lionel ran, those, what scale is that?
Either O127 they call it, or it's O gauge.
Yeah, I didn't know. I know I had a small set when I was a kid, and a friend of mine, his dad had a set that took up most of the basement. I was always impressed by that.
Yeah, I'm really impressed when I sit down and watch some videos of these guys that spend their lifetime building a layout, and it's just remarkably beautiful.
Did you ever see that one that was in Germany?
Oh yeah, yep, yeah. And then they've got a big one up in New Jersey there, where they've got like 15-foot high mountains with trains going across bridges and through the gullies and everything else.
Oh wow! How about, have you seen those YouTube videos that have the? They're not really a live feed, but they put a camera on the front end of the trains in, I think it's in Norway. Have you seen those? And they just let it ride, and you see them going through tunnels and snowstorms and along the coast and on edges of cliffs, and it's quite impressive.
Yeah, that is quite neat. I've even watched, they do it here in the States too. They'll put a miniature camera on a front end of an engine or whatever and go around their layout where it's already made and done up and everything. Just beautiful.
Oh yeah, no, it was impressive. And plus the ones that were, I forget where that one is, in Missouri, that one that has that, the train that essentially runs from Chicago all the way to LA, and it's the one right there in, I forget the name of the town. No, you know which one I'm talking about?
Well, my mind's drawing a blank, but I've heard of it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's quite impressive because there's a lot of rail traffic going between Illinois and in California, or wherever the stops are in between. Because you see those, you'll see a couple of 100-and-something car train going through every couple hours at least.
Yeah, a long time ago, back in the 80s or early 90s somewhere, a lot of the railroad companies did away with their second main line because of taxes and this, that, and everything else. So now, since rail traffic is damn near tripled, they're hurting for traffic time. So you'll see a lot of long trains frequently.
Oh yeah, well, I still think it's neat. I grew up about 6 or 7 houses, I have to count them now, but away from in Niagara Falls, New York, where I grew up, which was in a very big industrial town. I mean, everybody in the street worked at one of the big plants, chemicals and Kimberly-Clark and DuPont and you name it, graphite and carbon plants. But anyway, there was 3 sets of railroad tracks that went down the middle of town, of which I lived, like I said, about maybe a quarter mile away from the railroad. And I didn't even need an alarm clock because I knew the schedules.
Oh yeah. That was part of the good old days back then. I mean, you knew what the engineer was, the way he sounded the horn on the locomotive and or the whistle or whatever. But that's all that stuff is gone now.
Oh yeah, well, my grandfather he was a steam locomotive hobbyist, and he built his own steam engines.
Oh yeah, that's popular too. I think there's a club around here someplace that does live steam, but I've not been that old enough to get into that live steam. That's an expensive ordeal, but it's enjoyable.
Yeah, it's enjoyable, and you gotta be careful too.
Yeah, gotta keep an old eye on that boiler.
Yeah, very good. In fact, he had a boiler in his basement just for that purpose, and he used to build his own steam engines. He had a lathe and all the equipment to do that. But anyway, he used to get upset with me because I used to play with his tools, and he knew it every time. But when he came home, he'd chew me out for messing with his stuff.
Yeah, some of them guys make even today make them steam engines completely by hand. All the pieces, the rods, the pistons, and the valves and everything, makes them all by hand there. So it's really impressive to watch one.
Oh yeah, right now I can't tell you how much he made, but I know it was a lot. He had a buddy that he and his buddy used to do a lot of that stuff. So it was always impressive to me. Anyway, that was Greg. Kilo Bravo 9 Oscar. Oscar Charlie Delta, and he's in Pleasant View, and he's running at least 3 sets of rail lines up there in his house. The N scale, the O scale, and perhaps the HO scale. So that's I didn't even know those other scales existed. All right, anybody who's got train issues can contact Greg. Who else is up next? West?
And November 4, Delta Juliet Tango.
There was a double in there, but Don, you doing all right? I understand. Yeah, you probably heard Carl give a slight update on you almost being done.
Hey, good evening, Paul. Everybody on that? Yep. Getting there. I was missing the biggest tube with a 17-meter driven element. So hopefully that'll be here tomorrow or Friday. I'm hoping. If not, that's put a crimp in my plans. Yeah, I'm just about ready to get the final assembly and slap up on the tower. Probably do Saturday final assembly. Swap out a couple saddles on a 20-meter element that won't take long, and then moving the mast up 10 foot higher with a stacked up 6-meter antenna on top of the Nervasa. So that'll take a little bit, but once getting the Yagi on the tower going to be easy because it's only a 12-foot boom. So that's one of the reasons why I got it. And the boom mount's a little offset from the center by about 2 feet. So I only got to get the tower down about 4 feet off the ground and just slide that sucker right on there.
Well, that'll be cool. And how high is that tower? Is that going to be? That you're talking about the Yagi?
Yeah, the Yagi will be sitting at about 45 feet. And then the 6-meter will be sitting at close to 50, and then the 10-meter antenna will be right on top of the 6-meter at 50-some feet, 51 feet or so.
You'll be doing great. You'll be lost to the world after all that stuff.
Well, I got to get this done so I can get the UHF tower going. I'm trying to get that one done, but I'm focusing all my energy on this HF tower, and then we'll take a week or two breather and then focus. I got to get all the stuff done around the HF tower, get it all cleaned up because the lawn guys will be here soon. So I got to get the radials down from 160 and 80-meter inverted L's and get that all done so they can start mowing because it'll be here before I know it. I can already starting to see the grass get a little gross to it, so they'll probably be coming soon as the daffodils start blooming, which will be probably in about 2 or 3 weeks, I'm thinking. And so I want to get it all done, and then I'll worry about the HF tower. I can't permanently run my Kellex yet because they've got to run. They got to do all the rock and landscaping around the pool pad. So the Kellex is going to be laying there for now, and I'll have to disconnect it and roll it up when they're going to come mow the yard, at least for now.
Yeah, I got you. Yep, you're gonna have to definitely want to bury those radials. Well, very good, Don. That was Don. He's in Bon Aqua working on his HF tower. Soon to be working on his finish up his VHF UHF tower. And sounds like you're going to have a fantastic station when you're done. November 4, Delta Juliet Tango. In fact, you can look up and see part of his station on the web, at least the inside part, and a little bit of his outside. Who else next, West?
Then for Victor Charlie, Mobile.
Hey, how are you doing now?
Hey, Mobile.
Yeah, pretty good. Been reading the mail here for a while. Up here again near Walmart, up at White House, same old place. Yeah, I can hear the guy in Brentwood about 80% quieting. I Q5 most of the time. I'm hearing the guy in Ashland City about S3. He's talking about raising his antenna. So pretty good for a cold night.
Yeah, no, you're doing great up there at sitting in a Walmart parking lot.
Yeah, just seeing who I could hear. I heard a few others. The guy you were just talking to, I couldn't hear, but there was one other I could tell he was transmitting. That's about it. I forgot this a few QSOs ago. But anyway, sounding good. You're about 20 or 30 over 9. You're on the little HT.
Oh, wow. Working off an HT up there in where'd you, I forget where you said you were tonight. White House?
Yeah, White House.
Wow, that's awesome. And mobile, no less, with an HT. So that's amazing.
Yeah,
what in April when the weather starts warming up, we'll start to get tropho down in Texas and Florida that comes up with the warm weather. So when the sideband will pick up dramatically, start here in Texas, Gulf Coast, and it'll go north as the warm weather goes north. Over.
Ah, I got you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Well, very good, Alan. Let me move along here. That was Alan, November 4th, Victor Charlie. He is in White House on an HT, so some of you, I'm sure, aren't hearing him, but he's hearing a bunch of stuff, so conditions are good. Who else? Somebody else was up next, mobile. Who is that?
N1MDJ.
That must have been you, Michael. How you doing?
Pretty good. Been out playing tonight. I'm just heading back home. Just now got to Mount Juliet Road, so I'm just now almost not west.
Ah, okay, very good. Were you doing any, you weren't doing any EME, just satellite stuff, right?
Yeah, I've not played with EME. I've did satellite work. I hadn't been on it during the winter. I need to get back into that here as soon as it gets a little warmer.
Yeah, somebody was asking me if I knew anybody who was doing EME to do a presentation. You know anybody who does that, do you?
There was one fella I met at the last HamQuest when I was there for AMSAT, and he was in the area here, and he was just starting to do EME. I forget what band he was on. I forget what band he was on.
Well, if you think of it, let me know.
And if anybody ever gets interested and wants to do satellite or learn or get a group together somewhere on a night, I'd be interested in getting that ball rolling.
All right, you can do another invite up there on the group site if you want to on the EME. I mean on EME, on the email site.
Yeah, it'll have to be during the week, not on the weekend for me.
Yeah, that makes it a little rougher, except if everybody's retired, then it's a little easier. Well, anyway, yeah, do send it up and just maybe you can maybe there's some others that are interested or are already doing it and want to get somebody else to work with. But if you would do that, that's or at least post it up there. So you have an interest, you've been doing it, and you'd be happy to help somebody try to do it. Anyway, that was Michael, November 1, Mike Juliet. I'll get it right in a second. Mike Delta Juliet. He is mobile here in Mount Juliet, so I got that right. November 1, Mike Delta Juliet. All right, Michael, thank you for checking in. Appreciate you being mobile, and if you'll get us a notice out on satellite work, I think somebody will be interested. Who else is south? Anybody else west or south?
K4OFO. Oscar.
Oh, I think I heard Oscar, but hold on first with Donnie. How you doing, Donnie?
Doing good. And what this weather's gonna do to us? Been working a lot of HF here lately.
Cool. Yeah, conditions good for 2 meters, but I don't know that you haven't seen any improvement on the HF bands, have you?
Well, 20 was really going strong today. I picked up about 4 DX stations in about 20 minutes, but I heard probably 12 or 15 all over the band. That was just within an hour that I was monitoring, and something come up, and I had to give it up.
Oh, wow. Well, hopefully things will be looking up continuously as we move forward, I hope.
Yeah, I believe it will. But I'll let you get on with it. Thank you. Talk to you later.
Very good. It was Donnie, south of me about 5 or 6 miles, Kilo 4 Oscar, Foxtrot Oscar, just east Percy Priest and just east Mount Juliet Road. Who else was, I heard that, was that the Bravo Oscar station?
Kilo Oscar 4, Bravo Oscar.
All righty. I thought that's who I heard. I only caught the last part of that, so I presumed it was not Larry.
Kilo Echo 4,
Yeah. Nice chilly ride home this evening.
Oh, I bet you did. There was another station in there. Hold on, Larry. There was another station. Hold on 1 second. I've got Kilo. I'm working with Kilo Oscar 4, Bravo Oscar. You said that ride home was a little chilly today. You say? I guess it was. It was breezy too.
Yeah, I left work about 8:15. I actually could hear you in Vanderbilt on the little handheld.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not too surprised. The only place I can't hear at Vanderbilt if somebody's in the parking garage. You see, it's a little rough for me.
Yeah, they make me park out in the weather, so I made it safe home last night.
Ah, very good. Yeah, that would be just a little bit. What is it? I figure it's 30. I've got 36 here in my yard, so it's pretty cool. course, that's about the same temperature you came to the breakfast this last Saturday.
Yeah. I didn't dress this morning. I wasn't good awake. Threw on some chaps and jacket. So this afternoon it's a little chilly.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like I told you, I do that on the bike down into the, that was about my quitting point, was just a little bit below 40, because man, can your hands get cold right, out there in the wind, and you're doing 2 or 3 times the speed I was doing, so you'd really get cold.
Well, I made it, and I'm good. I'm gonna warm up now and have some supper. It's good to hear you out there.
Yeah, very good. That was not Larry. Kilo Oscar 4 Bravo Oscar. He's over there. We were just talking about riding a motorcycle back and forth to work. And he kind of froze up a little bit this evening because he wasn't quite prepared for it. But that's Kilo Oscar 4 Bravo Oscar, and he's over there on Percy Priest Lake living on a boat. Who else? There was a Kilo Echo 4. Who was that? Who was the Kilo Echo 4 station?
Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor.
Yeah, it was so quick I didn't even recognize your voice. How you doing, Larry? Doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Is there another Larry out there?
He goes by not Larry, Notlarry.
Okay, that got me confused. We're gonna let you go on with it, KE4SYB.
Yeah, very good. I get the Larry and the not Larry right next to each other, and it would be confusing. All right, very good. That was Larry in Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor, and he's in Rockville with a great signal. Who else? Anybody else south?
KD4ZGY.
Hey, Ed, KD4ZGY, and Shake Rag, what's up?
Well, good evening, everyone there. KD4ZGY. Everything goes good there. Had a little snow showers a while ago, but ain't nothing gonna stick. And I just ride it out. We'll be spring before we know it.
Yeah, are you on the beam tonight?
Yeah, I'm on the beam.
Yeah, you're doing a solid S9 here tonight.
So are you, and you're not on the beam, right?
No, but I've got the elevation.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll let you go. I know you want to get off the 10-meter side there. Glad to hear you in there, KD4ZGY.
Glad to have you in there, Ed. That's Ed. He's in Shake Rag down near Shelbyville. That's Kilo Delta 4 Zulu Golf Yankee. Anybody else south? Any late check-ins? We're moving on. No late chickens? No lollygaggers or who else am I missing? Oh yeah, this the lurkers, lollygaggers, and who else? Sandbaggers. No, and no more preppers or scanner listeners or SDR donglers or let's see, preppers or end-time survivalists or flat earthers. None of those.
KE4TW.
Which category should I put you in there, Wes?
I could do flat Earth tonight. Otherwise, it's not flat out here in the east, but things are going good.
Oh yeah, you saw that guy who made a steam-powered rocket and died here this past few days.
Well, the question is, did he prove his point?
We won't know because I don't think he made any notes while he was up in the air for that 20 seconds.
Oh well, somebody's got to pick up where he left off. All right, KE4TWI.
Yeah, very good. That was Wes, Kilo Echo 4 Tango Whiskey Indy in Watertown. Looking forward to you on 10 meters. Is there anybody else late check-ins before we move over to 10 meters? Nobody else. There was 25 check-ins. We had 27 this past Saturday, and I think we had 30 something in that number. We've been ranging between 25 and 32 in the last couple of weeks. So a lot of interested people. One last chance before we move over to 10 meters. Please come in. Well, very good. I'm closing this portion of the net out. This is Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey. I'm going to be on 28.415, and I'll see you there in just a moment. All righty, here I am, 28.415. This is Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey with the Von Juliet Simplex Radio Net. We'll start again from the east. Please come now for 10-meter portion of the net.
Kilo Echo 4 Delta Echo Zulu Now copy over.
Hi, you doing great. I got you in there solid, Earl. Who else we got from the east? Please come now.
Kilo Golf 4 Mike India Zulu.
Hey, You're doing just half the net tonight, are you, Kevin? You're doing good. You sound great.
All right, KT4, I'm with it.
Hey, you feeling any better?
Yeah, pretty good.
All right. Just hoping you're doing well. Who else we got east? Hey, I got you in there. How are you? Well, we got a limit. You have to tell me how well you're hearing on your new antenna. You sound pretty good. It's a little low, but I'm not sure why. Yeah, I'm sorry, Stan. Yes. All right, well, very good. You'd have to give me a report how you're doing there. That was Kilo Mike 4 Hotel. Get my names, my numbers straight here. Hotel Quebec Echo in Lebanon. Who else east? KE4TWI got you in there west. Who else we got east? All right, up to the north. Please come down. Anybody north on 10 meters? Please come down. KM4FAX, I got you in there, Otis. You sound good. Who else is right north? Please come down.
KM4KX, I think this is Robert.
KN4K, I got to get that call straight. It's still a little clunky to my brain here. KXA, there we go. Robert, all right, very good. Got you in there. So you sound pretty good, Robert. Who else we got north? Please come down. Going over to the west, please come down. November India 4 Delta, got you in there. Solid, Carl. You sound good. Who else west? Hey, Don, you sound pretty good. Of course, the farther we get west, they're not. I have good, solid audio, fully readable. It's just a very low signal. Who else is west? Of course, that's going to get better as you guys move forward, I'm sure. Who else is west?
KM4YRF.
Yeah, you see, you're killing me over there, man. You got to lower that antenna.
Can't do it, Paul.
All right, Michael. Who else we got west? Please come down. All righty, going to the south.
K4OFO.
K4OFO, Donnie, you got you in there. Sound good? Anybody else south? Anybody else south or east? Please come down. Any late check-ins? Any place? Anywhere? Please come down. All righty. Is anybody hearing anything I can't hear on late check-ins? Got nothing. Well, I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way back up. That was Kilo 4 Oscar Foxtrot Oscar. That's Donnie down here in Hermitage, south of me, and Kilo Mike 4 Yankee Romeo Foxtrot Michael up in Belshire, and Don November 4 Delta Juliet Tango in Bon Aqua. Carl November India 4 Delta in Brentwood, and wait a minute. Oh, Robert Kilo November 4 Kilo X-Ray Alpha in Goodlettsville. And we've got, where was next there? Kilo Mike 4, Foxtrot Alpha X-Ray, Otis with a big signal out of Hendersonville. Of course, that's not too hard for me. I'm across the river, kind of. Kilo Echo 4, Tango Whiskey India, West in Watertown. And Kilo Mike 4, Hotel Quebec Echo with Stan over in Lebanon with his new antenna. And Kilo Juliet 4, Mike India Zulu. That's Kevin over there in Lebanon. Getting tongue-tied there. Kilo Echo 4 Delta Echo Zulu, and that's Earl and Noreen and me. Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey here in Mount Juliet. And I didn't get the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 11 of us in there tonight. Nice group. We had 12 in there, I think, last time. I think we had 12 in there Sunday night. And don't forget, we have a Sunday night net at 7:30. And of course, the reminder goes out to everyone on the list. So hope to see you there. This is K4PEW. Have a good night, everybody. And closing out the net.
K4PEW. K4OFO.